diving right straight into it. Ancient Dance of Companionship. Yeah. Not companionship in the way that you know it here out in the physical world, but one that essentially starts and trickle in the energetic spiritual world, right? A type of unionship that is a bit sacred, you know? And this sacredness starts with self, essentially, right? Because you have to understand who you are before you know who anybody else is outside of you. So, of course, this dance essentially starts with the ego, right? And the true self, trying to figure out what is what and who is who. And this dance is a long journey of a dance. Sometimes it takes multiple lifetimes in order for one to fully comprehend and immerse themselves of what is actually going on. What actually is all of this, you know, reality. Sometimes they call it an illusion, or sometimes they call it Maya, a university, a school, or a song, right? The universe, you, and the verse, right? Hey, wordplay. But even these wordplays has a lot of messages and a lot of signals within them. It's quite fascinating on the way how consciousness like to play this game. I equivalent consciousness to a child because why else would you have all this time, right? Giving us all this time to get it together, to know thyself in infinite perspective and infinite manners and ways. And so this dance is fascinating, right? Once again, it begins with self. And once you comprehend who you are, you then may want to start advancing your dance, right? All of it is a dance. It's quite beautiful. It's not choreographed in the way that you will see it in the physical world, but this one is very energetic. It is timelessness, right? Because simply it all boils down to the ability to surrender, right? To surrender what you think you know and just listen, because you have the ego, which is a bit conscious, and that accounts for 0.5% of our being. And then you have the subconscious, which is a good 99%, you know, and a vast way of how things actually are connected and how they intertwine and how they work, how it weaves down into our personal life. Weave down, it's a snake. Hey, the serpents can work too as well. You know, you have the Kundalini energy dancing its way up throughout your body as it goes into that micro orbit between the inhale and exhalation, right? Even that's a dance. This is about to get very intricate, isn't it? And it's quite majestic because, once again, it begins with the self. I have to keep bringing this up so that, you know, you comprehend what we're really talking about here. And once you are able to conquer self, once you are able to self-love yourself, self-promote yourself to the higher self, connecting the lower self, because even that's a dance, until that dance becomes in unison. That is the whole goal, because, you know, companionship is also in the word. And ancient, because we've been doing this for a very long time. An extremely extravagant long time, to the point that I have to equivalent it to being very just timelessness, right? So therefore, that's what it means to surrender, because you are not in a time frame. There is nothing here to control, right? That is ego. And we all know when the ego ceases, the ego does get quiet. And when it does get quiet, the true self starts to reveal itself. And it's simply a watcher, an admirer of what's being experienced, right? So therefore, it comes down to the experience and how well you are able to dance with it and be okay with everything that has happened or will transpire or has not transpired. That's what it means to surrender. It's like suspending the air that you're breathing when you're taking a breath or you exhale, and you exhale all the way out and you just wait and pause. You start to feel a very euphoric type feeling throughout the body. And then when you finally breathe for air, not gasping, but you actually allow air to come back in, it's like a gift. It is like a gift, literally. Try it. I challenge you to try it. It is like a gift because then now you have a lot of appreciation for that prana, for that breath, for the ka, for the chi. So many ways and dimensions of timelines that, many of us have called it. But we know that it's there. All you have to be is be aware of it yourself, which is to look inwards, right? Yourself. Once again, once you conquer that, you can now share this dance with another being outside of you. Whoa. This is when things get very interesting because then you have to master what you've mastered with yourself along with another universe who moves to their own beat, who moves to their own rhythm, right? But of course, you have to attract them in a way that is non-physical. We're not speaking about physical at all. It'll take a very long time until the physicality of things start to come into play. We're simply going to remain in the quantum realm, as the modern man will call it. The ancient man, the original man would just say spiritual realm, or the energetic of things. And this is where this intricate of dancing starts to really intertwine and take place. It's telepathic. It's sensual. You can feel the energy. You can feel the vibration. And it's a bit spontaneous, but at the same time, when you let yourself know, it is a bit of a preparation on what's to come as it trickles down into the physical realm of things. And this can take a timeless amount of times. It can take a week, it can take a month, it can take years, right? But one thing is for certain, is that companionship, that union, that dance, once it starts, it is going to come together one way or another, right? Because now there's something sacred behind it. You are interchanging energy with another being who sees you, who sees you, who fully comprehends you. And mind you, you haven't yet been in the physicality of them yet. This is what it means to really take your time. This is almost like a vetting stage. You are vetting each other for the road of what's ahead or what's to come, right? And it is quite ancient because we have done it for a very, very long time. Modern society has this dating thing where everything is much more fast-paced, but the consequences are much more grand when it's mine now. I want it. Let's go. There are consequences in moving in such ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, we live in them. We see them. And rightfully so, because a companionship, a mirror. I look at you, I see me. You look at me, you see you. That shit is scary sometimes, man, because it's extremely revealing. You often know what the other is going to do before they even do it. And yet this is still taking place energetically, And when it's all said and done, by the time it finally does manifest into the physical realm, you would have a sense of already knowing them, right? And essentially that becomes wholesome. It becomes very beautiful because you learn how to surrender to the process. You learn how to move with faith. You learn how to allow your emotions come in and out, feel the way how you feel, because presence was met and presence was given And with presence, there is space, and this space is a bit shared. And both of you guys have confirmed and classified it to be a very sacred space exclusively for the you and you, for the I and I. This is an ancient dance we're talking about here, still being conducted in a spiritual realm. I can be sitting here, chilling, minding my own business, that it is, and then suddenly, whoom, I'm bombarded with thoughts of die. And of course, because we've been dancing, we have been initiated. I know that these thoughts didn't just come out of nowhere, and that these thoughts are being sent outwards as an energetic resonance. And we are receiving, right? Because initiation has happened. So now we are a bit intertwined. And essentially, as progression happens, this intertwine starts to cement itself to the point that it has to be manifested in the physical realm. It's just how it works. It's just how it's designed, you know? You put out a frequency. Don't be surprised that somebody comes and answers that frequency. It comes out of nowhere. You don't see it coming. No matter how prepared you believe you are, because they come with lessons. They come with teaching without having to teach, right? Because heavy amount of personal growth starts to happen. Once again, you believe you got you under control, but the moment you are or have to step up to the plate and see, you know, everything that you practice, everything that you talk about has to be put in play, we see what you really are made of, you know? Be who you say you are. If you say you are that, well, therefore the you, the big you that we call the universe, will go ahead and test it out to see just exactly just that. And oftentimes it will be in a manner of a dance, a very old, ancient one. And we'll see how well you can surrender to the presence, surrender to the process. For you just begin to flip page one, there might be 10,000 pages to be flipping through as this dance continues to manifest in a manner that is unseeable to both parties, to both unions, right? It's a bit regal. It's extremely majestic. It is extremely a beautiful art. And this art really takes a couple of lifetimes to comprehend and to know, right? You won't get it all in 5 lifetimes. You won't get it all in 100 lifetimes. It can almost be as if it's a continuous process because there is so much expansion to be done. As we contract, we also expand. And this is always happening one way or another. Whether you are conscious of the process or unconscious of the process, there are divine instruments being played at here. The ancestors are watching it and are very being meticulous about it, you know. Hell, there could even be bets happening. I bet you he won't be able to do this, or I bet you she gonna do that. Who knows? I have no idea. Nevertheless, the bet is for the betterment, because both parties comes out of it with so much growth, you know, so much growth, so much knowledge of self, so much ways of looking at a perspective. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's ancient. It's rich. No fabrications are needed. One would just simply have to go through it. One would simply have to experience it. Right? The energies between the masculine and the feminine, for we have them within this one vessel, and we also see it manifested outside the vessel. As there's a version of me here, there's also another version of me out there. We can assimilate this to a twin flame sometimes. And even in twin flame concepts or environment, this dance tends to happen, right? There is a chaser There is a runner. There is one very certain. There is the one that's not too certain. The ego gets involved. The other one has submerged with the ego. And yet, work in progress is still being done, no matter what seems to be presented in the physicality of things. As you know, the energy side of things is always a continuous process. Don't get caught up. It is an art form, and it's meant to be expressed. It is meant to be grasped. It is meant to be eaten. It is meant to be digestible and digested. It's beautiful, honestly, you know what I'm saying? It's revealing, right? Just when you feel like you think you know it all, just when you feel like, I got this, boom, something like that happens, and then suddenly you're missing your footing with this dance. But don't worry, don't fright. You have all the time in the world, right? You're already perfected. I'm perfect, or what they call imperfection. You are perfect, as I just said it for you, right? Yeah. It's fire, you know, even when I have the ability or have the chance to think about it after reviewing the video, there would be more cues and more clues for me to find out. And I'll be able to gather it and put it into my bag and then study it, review it, journal about it, write about it, and see what else there is more to be unpacked, to see what else more that I can learn, because there's always will be, always will be more to gain, more to learn, more to expand upon, more to experience as the watcher that we are, right? Ancient Dance of Companionship. Nevertheless, when it does finally trickles down into the physical world, ooh, there is still more work to be done. You are still dancing. It's never finished. It's never done, right? It's just that you can almost reap on your labor. You can reap on your reward with the flesh. And this is the lovey-dovey portion that we all get to finally see. But behind the scene, there are strings being pulled, right? There are blocks being removed and placed in a particular intricate way so that it makes sense when it does come into the physicality of things. Because right now, it may not make sense at all. There is nothing to make sense of. That's why you have to surrender to the process. That's why you have to just be, right? And when you're able to be, you're able to study and watch and learn and develop in a manner that is almost path-like, almost like it was set up to be exactly as such, right? We are just characters, and these characters have consciousness behind it, watching the interplay happens like a movie, right? But instead, this movie is always here with you, even when it goes to sleep and even when it's awakened. It is still going, equivalent to the TV screen with multiple other channels. The channels changes, but the TV screen remains. I like that example. I heard that the other day, so I figured I regurgitate that over here. It's fire. It makes all the sense in the world, you know? But I leave y'all with that. Honestly, I think I've said enough for myself, for the mirror, for the reflection, you know, a lot of food for thought. And been food for myself as well, I have to admit. In a general sense, in a personal sense, in all type of sense that there is, you know, I'm pretty sure it can be applicable to any who beholds this message or gravitated or managed to attract it to oneself, you know. And yeah, the ancient dance of companionship. Peace.